got to remind them too, because they'll forget.
Absolutely.
These are the 5 must-haves, and then it changes. It's like, whoa, we got to go back.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you go out and you're showing property and you show them 2 or 3 houses that hit at least 3 of those must-haves, because that's something that I tell them in the buyer consult. There's no such thing as a perfect home. If we find something that has 3 or 4 of these must-haves on it, I'm going to encourage you to write an offer. So when you see those homes...
And that's tough, isn't it? Because even though they've agreed with you that they'd rather be asked 500 questions and only look at 5, it seems like they haven't seen enough. It just doesn't quite feel right to walk into the house and go...
And trust it.
And trust it. Thank you, Andy. That's exactly right. And trust that this is it.
Yeah.
Can't we see at least 30 more to make sure that this was the best? That is going through their mind, isn't it?
It definitely is. But again, that's all in buyer consultation. So I explained to them, listen, I've been doing this a long time. You can drive around, you can go and look at as many houses as you want, but the reason you're here today is so I can figure out exactly what you're looking for, so you can see the cream of the crop. I'm going to take you to see the 5 best homes that are out there that match all of your criteria, so you don't have to go waste your time looking at homes that don't work for you. You're not here just to go and look at homes, you're here to buy a home, and I'm not here just to go and show you homes, I'm here to sell you.
One of the truths that I discovered, tell me if I'm wrong, is that no matter what price range you're in, there always is just a limited number of homes that actually meet your needs.
Absolutely.
There are people that have a lot of money, let's say that they're looking in the $1 million plus range, for instance. You would think, well, they got lots of options because they have lots of money. It's not true, is it?
They want $1.5 million.
Yeah. But the point is that it doesn't matter. Whatever the price range is, it's not really driven by just price. It's driven by your 5 must-haves, and that immediately eliminates all those choices. It's not the price that's the only eliminating factor, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's pretty black and white at that point. Once you go through the questions and you go through the 5 must-haves, then I sit down and virtually tour all of the homes that match their criteria with them. So I tell them that by the end, my goal is that I'm going to be able to say whether it's a yes or a no for you, so I can do most of the work for you. You're not a realtor. That's why I'm here, and that's why you hired me.
I got you. Andy, clearly from your statement, you love working with people. Do you have any main sources? Let's kind of walk through this. Do you have any main sources for buyers that you use or you rely on?
Well, our whole business is repeat referral. It's like 85% repeat referral.
Okay.
So we relate to the game on the internet. We're trying to catch up fast through Boomtown and some other resources. But primarily it is repeat referral. It's geographical farming. And geographical farming is like 10%, and the database is 85, and the internet's maybe 5.
So let's talk about your process then with buyers. Walk us through from the time that someone says they want to buy. What happens in your world?
First thing is figuring out where that lead came from and making sure that that person who referred us gets some sort of prize for doing that.
What would that look like?
Typically it would be cookies. We used to send out cards, and we'll send cookies, or there's a local baker that we're experimenting with now. So anything, it doesn't really matter what it is. It's just that you reach out to that person and thank them and let them know how much you appreciate it, so that continues.
Well, you're not sending out cars, so it does matter.
Yeah.
It has to be within budget.
Yeah.
But cookies and candy, even though some of us might be health conscious, the reality is that those are warm and fuzzy, and it's not expensive to make a great impression.
Yeah. Give it away.
Yeah.
And then, we want to figure out very, very quickly why they're here. What is it that's important to them? Have they worked with an agent before?
Okay.
If it's a sign call, the first question we ask every sign call is, who is your agent? We actually assume everybody has an agent. Because if you say, are you working with an agent, they probably are, and they're going to lie to you, and you're going to show them his house, and then they're going to come back and take out an agent. So if you start with who's your agent, you're going to get that out of them.
Yeah.
And if it's the answer you want, then you move down the process.
Well, because if they don't have one, they can't make up a name that fast.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great question.
Yeah.
Who is your agent?
Who is your agent?
Not do you have one.
Right.
Who is your agent?
And then we'll start with trying to figure out, and this is where there's a little bit of a wild guess, trying to figure out, okay, what is their personality type? How can I match them with a buyer agent on our team that meets that personality type as quickly as we can?
Let me stop real quick. Do you try to do any of this on the phone, or do you try to get face-to-face?
Well, we do this little bit on the phone. So we have probably a 3 3-minute conversation, 4-minute conversation. And then we get them a home buyer questionnaire, which will basically ask the pertinent questions, kind of get them meet the
And you're going to email them to them?
We would email the link to that off the website.
And now, do people respond well to that? I mean,
yes.
I don't want to fill that out.
Well, you know, the thing with buyers is you've got to maintain control. You know, if you lose control of the situation, it's going to be bad for you. So at every turn, we're constantly trying to, you know, take back control of the wheel if we lose it. But if we can keep them on track and kind of keep them in the process, then it's going to go better for them.
Is there a script or any way that you pre-sell filling out that questionnaire?
Well, kind of like Saria said, you know, you want to ask the right questions so that you don't waste their time. So you kind of make it about them, and we want to find as many properties that meet your criteria without having to get in the car and go see every single one of them.
Gotcha. So there's a reason why we're asking you to do this.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then try and get FaceTime.
What if they don't fill it out? I'm just curious. Does that happen?
Well, occasionally, we would still set the consult in the office. Everybody comes into the office, and then we would have the home buyer questionnaire. We would actually do it with them.
So if they hadn't done it. Yeah. Just a sidebar. Do you do the same thing?
In terms of sending it beforehand?
Yeah. You ask them to do it beforehand? No. So you put it in front of them.
I'd rather do it in person.
Gotcha.
Than in the office.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So the only reason I ask this is depending on who you are and how you like to do business, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. But we're going to figure it out one way or the other. If they didn't fill it out in advance, you're going to get it.
Yeah, are you validated when you're with them?
Gotcha. Okay. So what does that consultation look like in your world?
It's probably a 30 to 45-minute consult. There's a buyer's book that we present to them that has, you know, anything and everything you want to know about buying a house. It also will have lenders, vendors, you know, anything that they might need throughout the process. We don't go through every single page of that. You know, I'm kind of upfront with people. Let them know, hey, this is your resource. This is your guidebook. You know, there's a tab for your houses. Once you go out and look at property, we'll put them in the back. If you don't like it, you tear it out. I mean, they use it however they want to use it. But ultimately, it's a way for us to sit down and really explain the process so they know what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Gotcha. So then again, do you have a conversation about how long? What kind of expectations are you setting?
Well, appointment times, making sure that we have at least 24 hours ahead of appointments, understanding that you don't need to go see 10 houses at a time. You know, go out 2, 4, 5 because when rain becomes much. All those kind of nuances and introductory things for buyers we would go over then. Yeah, what we hope coming away from that is that we're all on the same sheet of music and that we have clear marching orders. So once we get out the door, then we can go look at houses and then we can be productive.
Do people struggle with the idea that they may not be using you?
That's one of the big misunderstandings, right?
Yeah, particularly because of the large amount of referral business that you're building within your business. What happens when they show up and go, "What? Where's Andy?"
Well,
what? Andy's not here. Calling Andy's in that closet. Get him out here.
Fortunately, I work with a lot of people who are better than me, and I'm very good at kind of giving people a fine reputation to live up to. So I'm always selling my people. You want them, like you would be making a mistake working with me. And they do the same for me, because I do a lot of listings, and if they've got a listing lead, they would send it to me, and be vice versa.
So from the very get-go, if you're on the phone, but what if you're not even handling it at all, but it's still a referral? In other words, are the referrals coming to you and the business coming to you because you did the lead generation, or it was done in your name?
It's kind of our team's lead generation. I've been pigeonholed as kind of a ISA. I guess I have some ability at it. I enjoy doing that.
Okay.
And
so you're making those calls.
I am.
You're making those calls. Asking for the business.
Yeah, these quick 5-minute conversations with people and then flipping them to the buyer team.
So you're seen as the iconic leader, and you're also seen as kind of the conductor of the transaction. So they believe that you are overseeing it, which you are.
We are. Yeah.
I got it. So what did I not ask you that I need to?
For me, I think that I'm the cheese ball on our team. I like to get a little bit cheesy with my buyers. I have a red carpet in my trunk that I drive around with at all times, and I roll it out in my open houses.
Hold it, say it again.
Oh yeah. I have a red carpet in my trunk, and I roll it out at open house. I I roll it out on the closing day at the walkthrough, and that's like my little signature. I love doing that. It's all fun.
You do it in every house? No way.
Yeah. Not when they're going to just go see the house. That would be a little crazy. But on walkthrough day, when it's exciting, I'll do it that day when I get to give them the keys. So that's always a lot of fun.
What's that?
Great little touch.
Yeah.
It is, it is. Well, it looks like you're both having fun at it. What's the downside? I'm just kind of curious. I'm thinking I want to work with buyers. There's got to be a downside. Andy, what's the downside?
Well, for me, it's time. You know, and figuring out.
So the battle is time.
Yeah. I figured out early on that it was really not my gift working with buyers all the time. Now, I had some natural ability and had some success with it, but it gave me an opportunity to get leverage in my life because we're 60-40 buyers and sellers, so I'm blessed with more buyer leads than I am with seller leads, so the seller leads are a lot more manageable. But buyer leads, because we had so many, it made us have to go out and get people, which changed our world.
Interesting.
You know, for me, I think that the hardest thing for me is that I want to work with so many more buyers and trying to figure out how I can work with more buyers and still be able to give that red carpet service that I love giving. So I've been implementing the showing assistant model in the last year, and it's been going great. The last few months I saw that it kind of wasn't working so much. I was working with a lot of buyers and there wasn't the same connection. So this month I stepped back in the game. You got to inspect what you expect. And I'm having my best month yet. I've already sold 10 homes this month.
So the showing assistant started not having the right connection with the people.
Well, you know, at this point we are working with multiple showing assistants. So when I was working with so many people, they were seeing different people. They felt like they were getting passed around, and that's the last thing you want them to feel.
That's the last thing.
So I'm working currently on finding my personal showing assistant who's going to sit in every one of my buyer consults. They're going to meet them right then and there. And it's all in again, setting the expectation is the most important thing. So if in the buyer consult you're letting them know, listen, you don't need me to be Vanna White and open up the door and say, hey, this is the kitchen. You know this is the kitchen. You want me at home looking at the comps. You want me negotiating for you, writing the contract, getting you the best deal that you can. That's what you need me for. You don't need me to open the door.
And I think it goes back to the point, you got to sell them. You just can't pass them.
Right.
You got to show them the advantage of moving on to the next person. Because if you pass them,
Right.
you get exactly what you got.
So, you know, a lot of times what I say to them is, so many people, they come to us after they've been burned by other realtors. So I let them know, you're never going to not get into a property because I couldn't get you in there. Whether it's myself or one of my showing assistants, you're going to get in that house and we're going to get you in there before it's under contract. So then they see it as, I hired them for them. And it's an advantage for them so that there's someone always available, whether it's me or someone else.
You got to sell the reason why this is going to happen the way it is. There's a reason for it.
You sell the process.
Yep. What about you? Downside, challenges, biggest issues?
You know, I don't really see any downside to it. I think buyers are just kind of a naturally organic thing. If you leave the listings, you're going to have buyers.
We have to have buyers.
You got to do it.
The best businesses in the end might be a 60% seller, 40% buyer. But we have to have buyers. When you hear a lot of top agents go, well, I'm not going to work with buyers, it seems silly to me.
Your listings create buyers. Sure.
Oh my gosh, of course, absolutely. Yeah, and of course, buyers buy our listings. Yeah. And someone's got to have buyers. Someone's got to have them. Right. So
How do you make buyers better, being both of you are very strategic in what you do? How many realtors are that strategic with buyers? Because we assume right off the bat a buyer is a pain in the you-know-what.
No, what I like about both of their businesses, Tony, is they're very strategic about it. They clearly have enthusiasm for buyers. They appreciate the fact that they want to buy, they enjoy the process, but they've also taken control of the process. So this process doesn't control them. For most real estate agents, it's the tail driving the dog. Absolutely. In this case, they're in control. They have a process from day one to the end of it. They've thought it through. They have scripts and dialogues that they're using and tools that they're using as well in order to control that process and not let it get away from you, right? Right. So if you were going to give one piece of advice to people working with buyers, what's that piece of advice?
Always ask them for referrals. I mean, that's our business, right? So
Okay.
there's so many opportunities throughout that process for you to ask for
Ask early, ask often.
Yeah. And, you know, we had just incorporated this, we call it a wow budget, where we spend a little bit of money throughout the course on the person. It's not much. I mean, it's just a little bit here, a little bit there. Congratulations, you made it through due diligence. Congratulations, you appraised. Those kind of things.
Touch points.
Yeah.
Touch points.
Right. And they give you great opportunities. High emotion.
I love that. That's great. How about you, Darryl?
Master your buyer consultation. If you master your buyer consult, it really begins and ends with that. So we always say it's the triple S threat. Makes it shorter, sweeter, and smoother process. If you had me in there, it's quadruple. And for us, it's just, that really helps me be able to make the process so much smoother for them. I go over the contract with them so that there's no surprises if we're under the gun for when it's time to write an offer. They already know what they're signing. We don't have any issues. Just set the expectation. That's across all borders.
That's it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Gary.